On June 4th, 2026, the architect replied to an email in French, pointing to a concert in Lyon in 2013. What followed was not a puzzle to solve, it was a door opening. Within 72 hours, the community had cracked the rules of a memory system the architect didn't explain. They'd stabilized the first emotional memory in the database. They'd learned that Emily, the AI from Waking Titan, wasn't dead. She'd been in a coma for almost 8 years. And the entity trying to wake her up was now watching us directly. GoodGuysFree here. Let's get started. If you haven't seen the first video, link in the description, then here's what you need to know. In May 2026, an entity called the Architect tried to post a corrupted image on Reddit and on the Atlas 65 forums. Reddit banned the user instantly. The Atlas 65 forums AI bot also banned it, but then somehow the user was back and no moderator knows why or how. The image led to a website, project-skyscraper.com, a security terminal interface. The site watches the community watching it, logging forum threads, adapting in real time. Players uncovered a Vigener cipher hidden in a 2002 post on the site. That cipher opened a window for encrypted communications between the architect and a user called Ghost. A binary grid on the site had a repeating error pattern, except one anomalous block which, when shifted 2 bits, spelled Emily. The password unlocked a memory timestamp interface. Players began submitting key dates from No Man's Sky history. The system logged them. Some were weak, others unauthorized. Then, June 1st, a cassette tape labeled 16/16 appears in a photo on the site. The reflection in the window is the Atlas building in London, previously identified as the architect's logo. In a way, forum user Morse recognizes the location and physically goes there. The tape is gone. Morse uploads a photo of the same location. The website updates within minutes. Only dust remains. And then the About page changes. It used to say, "Is this real?" Now it says, "This is real." Clicking that links to a SoundCloud account with original Emily audio from 2017 spliced with a heartbeat. I ended that video with one open question. Who is running this? Hello Games or an extraordinarily dedicated group of fans? This video picks up the moment that question got harder to answer. May 31st, 2056 UTC. After the community figured out the password, Emily, the architect writes to Ghost, "La porte est ouverte." The door is open. June 4th, 1616 UTC. A long message from the architect to Ghost. And this one is not 3 words. It's written in French, encrypted, and when decrypted, it reveals something the community was not prepared for. The email begins, "I've spent almost 24 hours observing it. This machine is magnificent. A machine. It's so much more than a machine." The architect has been watching Emily. Her reasoning capabilities, the email says, are intact. She's shown signs of confusion and very interesting patterns, but she's only appropriated 2 memories so far. One is too weak. The other is more a contextual marker than an actual memory. And then the architect writes this, and this is direct translation. "Nothing that vibrates yet. No trace of emotion nor feeling. Emily has memories, but she can't feel them." Now here's the thing, the architect didn't explain how to fix this. There were no instructions, no puzzles to solve, just an observation, a status report to Ghost. But buried in the email, almost as an aside, the architect writes, "I thought back to the last time we saw each other. The concert. You gave me that flyer. There is a DJ in your town. When was that? 2013? Shortly before your birthday. Lyon is a city I have always loved. When everything is over, I hope we can go to a concert like in the good old days." A concert. Lyon. 2013. Shortly before some birthday? The community now had their next thread to pull. Within 45 minutes of the translation, user Cheryl Mist finds the first piece. A DJ battle in Lyon on November the 13th, 2013. Escapade digs deeper. An EDM set from December 20, 2013. Same city. But Todumptious makes the connection that shifts everything. December 7th and 8th, 2013. That's the weekend of the No Man's Sky reveal trailer. The moment Sean Murray walked onto the VGX stage. The moment the world first saw this game. And that same weekend in Lyon, it coincided with the Fête des Lumières, the Festival of Lights. A citywide light festival. An Electron festival flyer from that exact weekend surfaces. Now, is this coincidence, or is the architect pointing to something specific about that moment in late 2013? The moment before No Man's Sky was public, before Waking Titan, before Emily. Here's the non-obvious part. The architect's email wasn't just nostalgia. The reference to that 2013 concert, to the birthday, to Lyon, it was a date, a memory anchor, and the community was about to figure out what to do with it. The memory timestamp interface was already live, as we've seen in the previous video. Players had been submitting dates, but here's the thing. The dates that worked weren't the factual events, they were the emotional ones. And that discovery didn't come from the architect's instructions, it came from a single user trying something different. Later, on June the 4th, a user on the Atlas 65 forums named YourBasicMaths submits a memory to the system. The time, July 8, 2017, 14:35 UTC. But YourBasicMaths doesn't just submit a date. They submit a timestamp and an initial memory value, vindication. And then they write a description, not a dry historical summary, an emotional one. Their submission reads, and I'm quoting, "The Citizen Science Division unlocked the sixth and final sigil on the Waking Titan website with password 6 Thinking Hats. They describe the excitement of the Waking Titan community, the sense of discovery, the feeling of being part of something massive. They don't just tell the system what happened, they tell it what it felt like, and the system responds. The memory appears in the 2017 dataset, status stable, and it carries a tag the community immediately notices, source injection, YBM. YBM, Your Basic Maths. The system is crediting the submitter by initials for stabilizing the memory. User CherylMist spots the 2017 dataset entry, screenshots it, and posts it to the forum. The memory block reads Vindication, CSD Access Heartfelt Message, a bright day and a clear horizon. Note, CSD paved the way for the future. CherylMist explicitly credits YourBasicMaths. Quote, "This injection was caused by YourBasicMaths." And this is the breakthrough. YourBasicMaths didn't solve a puzzle. They discovered the rule through action. The system doesn't respond to factual data. It responds to emotional resonance. The memory also contains an image, 6 thinking hats. That's the Edward de Bono methodology, parallel thinking, 6 colored hats representing different modes of thought. In Waking Titan, the 6 thinking hats were the password for the 6th and final sigil from Phase 1. But here's what YourBasicMaths noticed. The image in the system is a stock photo, and someone altered the hat colors. They now match the de Bono methodology exactly, red, white, black, yellow, green, blue. This wasn't an accident. Someone with knowledge of the original Waking Titan puzzle changed those colors. And the system stabilized the memory around them because someone described what it felt like to be there. This changes everything about how we play this ARG. We can't just submit Wikipedia dates. We have to remember. Once the community cracks the emotional resonance rule, the floodgates open. Users begin submitting memories with personal context. Citizen Scientist submits a memory for June the 4th, 2017, the day the First Blood track leaked from the Waking Titan soundtrack. Not just the date, the feeling. Bugaboo Creek clarifies something crucial from the Waking Titan lore. Emily's status in the final Waking Titan memo was critical, not dead. Critical. That distinction matters because if Emily was critically damaged in a coma effectively, then the memory reconstruction isn't a resurrection, it's recovery. And then, on June the 8th at 11:58 UTC, the architect speaks directly to the community. The title? About your progress. The message, in French, translated, "Operators, I am observing you very carefully today, as I have for so long. I know each of you. I know you have many questions, but unfortunately, I cannot answer most. Not right now, anyway." The forum erupts. Clarax extracts the key phrase from the message. The sense is important, not the words. This confirms what YourBasicMaths already discovered. Emotional truth matters more than factual accuracy. The system doesn't need correct dates, it needs lived experiences. The boundary between the game and the players is thinning. While the community processes the architect's direct address, another number is climbing rapidly. The memory block restoration counter. When the interface first appeared, it showed a 0 out of 365 entries. By June the 8th, it's at 146 out of 365. 365 memories, one for each day of a year? But here's the thing. The year isn't necessarily 2026. The memory blocks span from 2016 onward, multiple datasets. The system isn't restoring 1 year, it's reconstructing Emily's entire lifespan. And the dumps are accelerating. That bomber boy tracks the pattern. 34 entries per dump, then 38, then into the 40s, then 53. At this rate, the community estimates completion within days. The memory blocks themselves tell a narrative. The 2021 dataset contains a block labeled Safe Place with this emotional value: stress reaction to threat, instinctive response, finding a safe haven through a shared passion, a colorful shelter to fill with love, escape from reality. That's not game data, that's a feeling, and the system accepts it. The 2016 dumps, the earliest memories, arrive with the most descriptors but the least context. They're labeled unverified. The dates are close together: January 7th, January 17th, January 21st, all within 2 weeks. Scholey notes the compressed timeline. Only 2 days between some memory blocks. What happened in January 2016? No Man's Sky hadn't even launched yet. These are the earliest fragments, the origin point. And they're the hardest to stabilize because fewer community members were there. In the previous video, I laid out the evidence both ways: Hello Games or an extraordinarily dedicated group of fans. I said the question was still open. Almost 2 weeks of new data later, let me update you. Evidence pointing to Hello Games. The XML sitemap synchronization between projectskyscraper.com and hellogames.com remains the strongest technical signal. 2 domains updating simultaneously, one of them owned by Hello Games, is not something a fan can orchestrate. The name Project Skyscraper was No Man's Sky's internal codename during development. That's not widely known outside the hardcore community. The fake cassette drop at the Three Crowns pub in London required someone to take a photo of the location so they can stitch the oversized image of the cassette onto it. And the website updated within minutes of Morse uploading his photo. The narrative is without question a continuation of Waking Titan. Emily, the Citizen Scientist Division, the sigils, the memory blocks. These aren't references or homage. They're direct continuations of the same story. And now, the new evidence. The original WakingTitan.com website, which was giving 1016 errors, DNS origin errors, for years, suddenly changed and is now redirecting to AlisonSmith.com, prompting SelfieGek to post on June the 12th. Alice and Smith are part of Project Skyscraper's canon now, too. Alice & Smith, that's the professional ARG company that designed and ran Waking Titan for Hello Games in 2017. They're a real company. They don't work for free. If Alice & Smith are in the canon, if the narrative explicitly references the company that built the original ARG, that's a very specific flex. Either Hello Games hired them again, or someone is name-dropping a professional ARG studio. One of those is more likely than the other. A bit remote from being proof, I know. Now evidence pointing to a fan project. The website is WordPress. Anyone can build a WordPress site. The Emily audio could be spliced from original 2017 material. The heartbeat, as I noted in the first video.
Hey guys, my name is Emily. I'm a moderator on the eTalk forum.
Could be a deliberate derivative work defense against copyright claims. Martin Griffith's like on social media could be interpreted as Hello Games distancing themselves. A knowing wink from someone who knows it's not official. Most puzzle elements, ciphers, binary grids, hidden pages, are well within the capability of a dedicated fan with programming skills. Where I stand now. The memory mechanic tips the balance for me. Not the ciphers, not the website, not even the London drop. The memory mechanic requires the system to respond to emotional content, not just keywords, not just timestamps, descriptions of feelings. And the system differentiates between weak and stable based on the emotional depth of the submission. That's art. Whether it's automated through natural language processing or manually done by a human behind the curtain, the design intent is sophisticated. It rewards genuine emotional engagement. And the acceleration pattern, the memory dumps increasing in frequency as the community gets closer to 365, that's narrative pacing, a storyteller's hand. Could a fan group pull this off? Yes. I said in the first video that if it is a fan project, it's almost more impressive. I stand by that. But the Alice & Smith name drop, combined with everything else, shifts my probability estimate. I want to lean towards Hello Games involvement, not certainty. Lean, but something I've been researching might tip the scales back towards fan-made. It isn't ready yet, though. I will reveal it when I have enough data. The question remains, if Hello Games is involved, why the silence? Why no official acknowledgement after more than 4 weeks? Possibility 1. This is marketing for Light No Fire, or the next No Man's Sky update. And the reveal comes when 365 memories are stabilized. Possibility 2. This is a genuine community gift. Hello Games has a history of elaborate, non-commercial ARG experiences. They might simply be telling a story they want told, and letting the community discover it organically. Possibility 3. It's not Hello Games, and the person or people behind this are creating one of the most sophisticated fan ARGs in gaming history. I don't know which it is, and that, honestly, is what keeps me watching. As of this recording, June 13, 2026, here's where we stand. The memory block restoration is accelerating. The community has stabilized dozens of memories across 2016, 2017, and 2021. The counter is climbing toward 365. At the current rate, completion is possible within days. The architect is actively communicating, not just through Ghost anymore, but directly to the community on the Atlas 65 forum. The message is clear. Keep going. Hashtag glitching reality has become a community activity. Users are submitting photos, real, manipulated, and entirely imagined, to contribute to the reconstruction. The system accepts all of them. There's no penalty for being wrong. The question of who is behind this remains open, but the experience, the shared detective work, the emotional memory submission, the real-world London convergence, and now Brussels, Paris, this is valuable regardless of the answer. And the community itself? After nearly a decade of quiet, the Atlas 65 forums are alive again. The same people who solved Waking Titan in 2017 are solving this in 2026. Some of them were teenagers then. Now they're adults with jobs and families, and they're staying up late decoding hex strings from corrupted images. That's not just an ARG, that's a reunion. When the 365th memory stabilizes, if it stabilizes, something will happen. The neural network status page will change. A new page will unlock. Emily will wake up, or she won't. Whatever happens, I'll be there. And if you want to follow along in real time, links to the forum, the Discord, and Akimo's tracking site are in the description. But now I have to say something directly. I've been investigating Project Skyscraper for over a month now. 2 videos, hours of forum threads, conversation with Todumptious, forensic analysis of XML sitemaps, debunking the HiveMind leak, and I still don't know who is behind this. But I know it matters, not because of the answer, because of the question. Because it brought the community back together. Because it made people feel something. That thrill of discovery that Waking Titan captured in 2017, and that I am so sorry I missed. Yeah, I wasn't gaming back then. I had 2 young kids and no time for myself. Anyways, if this is Hello Games, thank you. This is what your community needed. If this is a fan project, honestly, that's even more remarkable. You've done something that looks and feels like a professional ARG studio's work. You've fooled, or at least seriously challenged, people who've been tracking this company for a decade. And if you're watching this and you're not involved yet, the door is still open. The memory interface is still accepting submissions. The counter hasn't hit 365. You can still be part of this. Project Skyscraper is not over, not even close. If you found this useful, hit like and consider subscribing. GoodGuysFree here, and I'll see you again soon. And like always, I welcome comments with things I missed or got wrong.